Hi everyone, continuing this Elton John weekend. Today I will be listening to Your Song. I mean, Elton John's Your Song. Not your song, but Elton John's Your Song. In 1998, Your Song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. In 2004, the song was placed at number 136 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time, 137 on its 2010 list, and 202 on its 2021 list. So it's holding its place pretty well, even as more songs come along through the years. The song is listed among the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. And in 2024, the song was certified 3 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. So another pretty significant one of his many songs. I'm starting to feel like piano is really his instrument.
Funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live.
Okay, first thing, this immediately starts feeling like a pretty standard song format, which makes me appreciate this moment in the lyrics, in the verse. And I'm curious to see if it continues to be appropriate for the following verses. But when he says, I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, notice how the chords change there and really make it feel like such an expression of, boy, if I did.
Who can easily hide? I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor,
Ooh,
but
here
then
comes
again,
some strings. Warm it up.
who makes potions in a traveling show.
Cello coming in there.
I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you.
Okay, so as this goes on, he's singing in a very simple, personable, kind of unpolished performer, meaning this is somebody who is trying to express some of their deep feelings, and they wish they had more ways of expressing. They feel like what they have is inadequate. And if I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. Tell me, how does a man who makes potions in a traveling show, how is he able to express more of his inner feelings than a musician? But anyway, that aside, some nice little subtle bits of humor there. But it's the way he's building up to saying, I want to say something special to you, right? I want to express myself, and I don't feel like I have what it takes to truly express myself. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. I'm just a simple songwriter. I don't have anything else that I can create or do, or any other means of expression. And so this is what he's singing, and his voice and the melody are conveying this. But the cello, the strings come in nice and warm there at the beginning of that verse, but it's the cello that sounds like it's rising to prominence. And it's this sweeping, romantic, expressive melody. And it reminds me of that classic saying that music expresses the inexpressible. Lyrics, words, sometimes they just don't do it. But you get a cello? Oh, yes. You get a cello and it will say everything. This cello is filling the role of letting us see really how he feels inside, even as he's struggling to come up with the words to say what he wants to say.
Both could live. If I was a sculptor,
Warm strings, but listen
but
to
then
the cello.
again,
It starts to rise towards the top.
or a man who makes potions in
Ooh, now we hear it.
traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you.
Isn't that nice the way it does
And
that?
you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple,
More
but
plucked guitar.
now that it's done,
Violin sweeping along up
I
there.
hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful
flute coming in there.
life is while you're in the world.
Yeah, that flute gives a little sparkle to that line, doesn't it? Here comes the cello again. Oh, it's all about the cello.
I sat on the roof and kicked out the moss. Well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. But the sun's been quite
Got me quite cross.
kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned
You feel the
on.
mood becoming kind of buoyant and
So excuse me
cheery.
for getting, but these things I do,
interesting the way each verse brings in a
You see,
different
I've
sonic
forgotten.
element.
if they're green.
It's nice. It's he's pacing it well, and he's really digging into this image of, I'm kind of stumbling around with my words, but I'm doing the best I can. This line, I sat on the roof and kicked off the moss. Well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. In other words, I'm not happy with the way this is coming out. I tried, but it just doesn't sound good. But the sun has been quite kind while I wrote this song. And you hear the music get a little bit more dance-like, upbeat, and less romantic, less movie score-like, and more jink, 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 kind of upbeat and playful. Playful is the word. The sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song, and you can feel that somehow, even though he's not really happy with the way his verses turned out, even though he's not happy with it, you feel in the music, again, he's using the instrumental part of the song to let you know the rest of how he feels beyond what you hear coming out in the lyrics. So it allows us to have this kind of onlooker's perspective in which we see him struggling over this. We're also the recipient after he's done it all. And so we hear him saying, or we're reading what he's written to us. And at the same time, we can also feel his inner mood as the whole creative process progresses creative process of writing the verses progresses. The music expresses his mood. So it's an interesting vantage point where we are the recipient, we are the observer of the process, and at the same time, we are allowed to look and see and feel his inner experience during that process as well. I'd call it rather omnipotent, right? We're able to see from all these different angles and experience from all these different angles simply through the pairing of the music with the lyrics.
The moss, well, a few
the moss.
of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. But the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that
it's a happy day.
it turned on.
Is that mandolin or something? Dulcimer mandolin?
So excuse me for getting,
There's a
but
bit of
these
purple in
things
there.
I do, you see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen.
Okay, I like that. So, excuse me for getting, because these things I do. You see, I've forgotten if they're green or blue. I mean, what an embarrassing thing, right? But we all have experienced something like that. Somebody who means a lot to us, and we have even spent a lot of time with. And then somehow we realize, I don't remember. I can't recall this. We each have our own weak areas of memory and detail retention. And I could totally see this happening to somebody where they love your eyes. They admire your eyes. They're the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. Then he walks up and he's like, I was so taken by the eyes, I don't even know what color they are. I just remember they're the sweetest I've ever seen. And I was captivated by them. But you want me to tell you whether they're green or blue? Actually, now that I think of it, this is such a great example of how many of us experience music, especially non-trained musicians experience music. We love a piece of music. We feel it. We're captivated by it. We experience it fully. But if anybody were to ask us, is it major or minor? What are the instruments used? What are the chord progressions? The technical details. I don't remember and I don't know. All I know is that I love the song and it means so much to me and it's so special to me. This person, it doesn't matter to me if the eyes are green or blue. I don't care about the technical details. All I know is that the eyes are beautiful and they're special.
Forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway,
But it's an embarrassing admission, isn't it?
what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen.
And there's a sort of endearing trust and innocence about this, confidence even. Because even though this is really an embarrassing admission, I mean, consider if you were the recipient of a message like that, saying, I'm in love with you and I think your eyes are the most beautiful, but I really can't remember if they're green or blue. You might say, did you even look at my eyes? Can't you remember? They're not green, they're not blue, they're brown. Don't you know that? Do you really care? Do you really notice me if you can't even remember such a basic detail about me? So there is this vulnerability expressed as well in this text and the way it's written. And it's done, again, in a rather self-effacing, unassuming manner, but we still get to feel it. We still get to hear it. And maybe that's one of the things that that this mandolin or dulcimer rippling plucked strings conveys is this sort of vulnerability and innocent openness and willingness to be open and say these things because I trust this person and I don't have any suspicions of ill will from them. So I'm just going to do my best, and I'm going to leave it at that because I expect that they will take it for the genuine expression of affection that it truly is.
Yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen.
That's what I really mean.
And you can tell everybody this is the song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how
Here comes the flute again.
wonderful life is while you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world.
There it goes again. It's charming, it's delightful, it's sweet, and it's so unassuming and unpretentious. That's what I like about it. And I also like that when we get to the end, it's not some grand proposal or I want to spend the rest of my life with you, that sort of thing. Okay, we heard that at the beginning. Boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. But at the end, it's this very simple, I hope you don't mind that I put it down in words, how wonderful life is while you're in the world. And yes, we do get the impression that this is a lover's song. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be, does it? You could give it to a special friend. You could share it with somebody who just means a lot to you. And it would feel perfectly appropriate and sincere. And I like the fact that it does this in a rather non-romantic way. Even though, of course, yes, we understand it. It's meant to express some romantic attraction. But it does it in such a simple, again, I go back to childlike, innocent way. I like that about it. So this was my first time hearing Elton John's Your Song. It's one of his songs that I feel might go on my favorites list just because I like the attitude. I like the character of it. And so I'm going to be curious to see how my relationship to this develops along the way. But that was my first listen. And it has been a very enjoyable weekend of Elton John for me. And I'll see you soon.